This is Irontrader. This is the last call of the day. So we'll take a look here at Bitcoin, Ethereum, gold, silver, crude oil, and natural gas. All right, at the end of the video, the support and resistance levels are posted for crude and natural gas, along with the EIA report for crude oil. This video is for information only, not a recommendation advice on stock market ETF. Please like, subscribe. Thanks for watching. All right, here we have Bitcoin. Now you can see here we had this bottoming tail yesterday, but it did not hold, okay? So we had yesterday had that low of 89,325. Today we put in that low of, what did we put in that low of today? Okay, we had a low of 88, 830 level. And right here, this is what we're looking for, is the top of this candle right there. We're looking at 89.20 level. So we have to see how it finishes that there at the end of the day. At the end of the day, I should say. Okay, if we lose that, you're going to come right down here. The next level is going to be 87.70. Okay, then we'll come down to the bottom of this candle here. You're looking at that 84.790 level. We'll come all the way down here at that 83.190 level. Then we'll come to the top there. You're looking at about the 81.100 level. And then we have 79.55. And then we have 78,495. Then we'll come down to the bottom there, 76,390. And then we're going to look for a big boy right here, 74,635. Now, just remember, the lower this goes, the better buying opportunity you're going to have. Okay. Now, I trade BITX for the long, but today I've been trading that BITI, which is the short. Okay. Now, on the upside here, let me make this up so I get a little bit clearer for you. Okay. So we want to get right back up. There's your resistance level. It's going to be that 91,315 level. Then we'll come to today's high at that 93,290. We'll come right to the top of that candle at 93,960 level. And then we just venture right on up here to the top of this candle at that 96,145. We'll come down to this 8 SMA here at 97,271. That's going to be very, very key. It's going to be that 8-day. Now you can see here how we just have an absolute waterfall here, okay? 50-day, 21-day, 8-day, everything's crossing right on over. But eventually that ends. You'll find a bottom. I thought we maybe possibly had a bottom yesterday with that bottoming tail candle, but obviously we didn't. We put in a lower high and we put in a lower low. So as soon as we couldn't make a little higher high, for me, I jumped right into that BITI, and so I still have the trade going as of right now. Now, you can see here in the past, see how we had that tweezer top. Always watch for those. Came right on down, try to retest that 21-day, couldn't do it. We couldn't get through this 200-day here. Look how strong that was. And then now she's just falling off. But we got a waterfall situation here, so there's nothing bullish about this chart. I don't think that there is. Okay, if you're trading on the upside, just do scalps like I did yesterday. But, you know, two-way trade is what we have. Now, look at here. We're getting to that over a sold condition, same way with here. Okay, so it can be a matter of time. But be patient. Look for opportunity. That's the key, is opportunity is what we want to watch. So again, watch today's low at 88,830 level. If not, we're going to keep right on venturing all the way on down until we could possibly hit right down to that 74,635 low. If it came right down here, I think that would be such an awesome buying opportunity here to take this rate back up again here. So, but again, just be very, very patient. Okay, that's the key. Now, here on the weekly chart, you can see here how we have this low, higher, low situation. Now, we could come all the way down to this 100-day at that 83,506, and we still have that lower, that higher, low situation. We still have an uptrending chart. Again, you know, you don't really want to see that, but if you do, then we have that 83,506 level. If not, then we could come all the way down to that bottom of him. That's that 74,635 mark. Okay, so that's where you could come down. You could come all the way on down here, but I don't know if it's going to come all the way down, but let's just see. Right now here, we got it. It's not oversold here yet. This isn't oversold. But let's just see if we can hang on to at least to that 100-day. Well, we still have an uptrending chart situation. I wish it would have held that 50-day. That would have been a lot better. But so far, we don't. But again, two-way trade. Okay, that's the key is on the old Bitcoin as of right now. Okay, let's take a look here now at Ethereum. All right, here we have Ethereum. I was calling it Ethereum. I've been watching on Bloomberg, and they call it Ethereum. So, man, maybe I was wrong on that. Probably am wrong. Okay. So anyway, here we lost this 200-day, and that's what we're looking for. Okay, that 3065 level, and now yesterday we had this. It actually was a good candle, and it popped right back up here, and we closed back above. But obviously today it didn't hold it. Okay, so on the downside here, you're watching that 2874 level. Okay, so right here, your next level is going to be right here. This would be the gap fill. at that 28.53. Okay, so you're pretty close to that. And then your next level is going to be right there at that 27.91. And then we'll come right to the top of that candle at that 27.51 level. Okay, so that's going to be your downside as of right there. Then we can come here to the top of that candle. You're looking at 26.51, and we can just venture all the way on down here 25.31 till we get down to this section right there. You're looking at 23.83, and then we have your nice big retest all the way down at 21.75. Now, this isn't as oversold as what Bitcoin is, but you're getting down to that area. Same way with your MACD. Okay, now on the upside, we have to get right back above. You got to reclaim that 200-day, 3065. If you can, we have the 8-day right above it at 3261. And then we can just venture right on up here. The next big level, 3531. And then your next big level is the 100-day at 3900. And then we have your 50-day at 3970. Right now, we have a waterfall. There's nothing bullish about this chart. We lost. The price is now below all your simple moving average. There's nothing bullish here. So just wait, be patient. I know it's not easy. Sit on your hands unless you do a little short ski on Ethereum. Okay. Now, here on a weekly basis, we lost that key 50 SMA here at 31.21, and we lost that key 100-day at 30.61. Now we're just heading down. When you could head all the way down to that 200-day, 24.55, but let's just see if it actually gets all the way down. There is support above that, don't get me wrong, but again, that would be your big target, would be that 21.55 level on your weekly chart. Now, this here is nowhere near oversold. The green just crossed over your red, and you can see here how this is downtrending. So again, there's nothing bullish about here. We have a descending chart situation, so you got to be patient here for this here to reverse. Okay, let's take a look here now at gold and silver. All right, here we have gold and silver. I didn't take any trade in either one of these, and I'll tell you why, okay? I wanted the gold to close above that 8-day, not pop and drop. Same way here. You have to close for me above that 8-day. Okay, now I'm sure I could take a little bit of scalp, but it just wasn't worth it. I want to see if it closes. You can see where it's not. It's right below that 8-day. We have a topping tail situation. Okay, so right now what we're really watching on the upside is you're watching that 8-day, that 41.13, and then we'll watch 2 days high. Okay, you're looking at that 41.34. Now we crack above it. You got 41.55 level. We have 42.18, and then we'll come up here at 42.50, and then we can retest it at 43.98. But right now, see the pop and drop, that just doesn't work for me. I always wait and see if you can get above that. It's not easy just sitting on your hands. Believe me, it's not easy. I've been doing this 2.5 decades. It's not easy just sitting there and watching something go up and then come right back down again. It's just not easy to do that. But again, that's the situation we have. Okay, so right now, just on the downside, just watch that 40.56. If we lose that level here, just look at that 50-day as your target at 39.83, and then your retest there at 39.01. Okay, now 52, this nice sideways action. The green is sideways on the action on the red here. So actually, this is actually looking, not too bad because we're holding that 21-day. We lose that 21-day, and you got a good shot at that 50-day and a good shot at that retest. Now, as far as I go here, is I got to close back above that 8-day. If you can close above it, then I would take a shot to that 42.50, which is the top of that candle, and then we could rise to that 43.98. But for me, right now, there's just no trade in this. We just have a sideways action and kind of like a fake out, okay? Silver, the same thing. We had this double top, so you have to be very careful. I dumped it out of there because it couldn't hold that top of that candle, okay? Now it came right on down. It held that 21-day nice yesterday, and then today we had this like a big sticky topping candle, a pop and drop situation, which you don't want to get involved in, okay? So what we're looking for on the upside is we're looking at that 8-day, that 51.08, okay? Then we get above that, we'll look to today's high at that 52.24 level. Then we can venture right on top of this candle here, 52.63. This is the key level at 53.76. Even though you went higher, you got to be able to close above that key 53.76. Then we get 54.41, and then we could venture up to 55, okay? Now on the downside, you want to watch today's low. That's at 50.14 level, and then we come down here to the 21-day at 49.09. Now we lose that. We had the 50-day at 47.73, and then we have your 45.51 level. That's going to be all your downside targets. Okay, very, very nice. Now, what we have here is we have 56. We have sideways action. This is not overbought, oversold. The same way with here, same way with the gold. This is not overbought, oversold. But again, when I see these topping tails, I don't like to see that because a lot of times when that do, that can come right on down, or it could rally up here and then put that tweezer top in like we have like on Bitcoin, and she could sell right down. So for me, I'm just waiting to get a close above that 8-day, a close above this 8-day. Then I'll take along a GLD. I'll take along an SLD. Okay, let's take a look here now at crude oil. Alrighty, here we have crude oil daily, weekly chart. Now you can see here, so we just came right off. Now the EIA report wasn't really too bad. It had a good draw in it. Now just remember, okay, so there's like two sides going on here. We got the sanctions against Russia's two largest oil company, which is about a quarter of revenue going into Russia. Okay, and they're not getting that. Okay, plus you got Ukraine bombing their ports. They can't really get the oil out. Okay, that's one side of it. Say, oh, that was holding oil up. Then you got the other side of it. Say, okay, the U.S. now is starting to fill up their SPR. Boom, that takes a little bit off the old supply issue. Okay, but then again, you look at the other side of it and say, well, you got a big glut going on. So this is why you're really torn, and this is just a trade. This is why you want to trade the charts, okay? And I've been pointing out here for week after week after week, okay? Just watch that 50-day, okay? I know it's get redundant. I'm starting to bore myself. Trust me, it is. But this is it. That's it. There's nothing I can tell you. I can make some shit up if you want, but this is it. The 50-day. You can see where, boom, you can't get through, okay? Can't get through. And then right here, can't get through. You got to close above that before we hit that next target, the next target, and then the big retest, okay? If you can't get above it, you're not going here, or there. That's it, okay? So now we have this big-ass red candle with a lower high and a lower low. So what we're watching is we're watching this whole level right here, okay? So right there, you're looking at that 59.26, and then we come down here to today's low at that 58.66, and then we watch down here 58.12, and then we have 57.34, we have 56.35, and then we have your retest down there at 55.96. Guys, I know all this crap by heart because it's the same shit every day. There's nothing happening. We have a descending situation, but the 50-day on the upside is everything. You have to get above it in order to go to the next level. Okay, now what you're really watching with the futures open is you want to watch this 8-day. Okay, you got to get back above the 59.71. You have to get back above that 16.819 before you can even attack that 50-day again. Okay, so right now is a really good short in the SCO. So I took a short. I'm still short on the SCO here. Okay, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna probably just if it rallies back up here, I'll just scalp the long back into the 50-day until this 50-day is broken to the upside. This is going to be that same old trade going on and on and on, kind of a situation. Okay, so that's just what we have. So obviously, just watch that 8-day, watch that 21-day, watch that 50-day. That's your whole upside right there. Downside, just watch today's low. Okay, that 58.66. Watch this. It's going to be very, very key at that 58.12, that 57.34, and then your retest at 55.96 low. Okay, now not overbought, oversold, not overbought, oversold. We just have the sideways. This is just a trader's market. I like it. So, I'm just scalping UCO for the long, SEO for the short, and that's just how that's all working out. Okay, we look at the weekly chart here. Now you can see here declining. See, high, lower, same old shit. Going all the way down, lower, low situation. Now, the key is you got that 55.96. You crack that, okay? Then we got all these targets right here, okay? So you got a target right there. You're looking at the 52.75 level. Okay, we're looking at there. You're looking at 49.43, and then we're looking here at that 42.29, and then we got 46 area, and then we come all the way down to that 42.29. I just call it the 43 level. Okay, that's what we could come down to, but you have to lose this 55.96 in order to get there. Okay, now not overbought, oversold, not overbought, oversold, but we have a descending chart here, and then when you look at the upside here on the daily or weekly chart here, look at that 8-day 59.69. Got to get above it. We have that 21-day, the 50-day, the 100-day. Everything is waterfall to the downside. Okay, you got to get and close above all these levels here, that 50-day, in order to reverse this downtrend, which right now we do not have. Okay, take a look here now at natty gas. All right, here we have natural gas. Now you can see this was actually a good trade today in the UNG. Okay, so yesterday we had that bottoming tail. So what I was watching here today as it came on down, I was watching the bottom of that candle right there at that 432. Now we never made it down there. We only came up 435. Okay, I scalped me along on the UNG. Okay, now I'm all out of the trade now. Okay, I'm all out of the trade now. But it was a really good scalp all the way on up. Okay, all the way to that 4. I went through the 8-day, and I was kind of a little concerned. I said, geez, should I sell some of this? And I said, no, I'm going to keep holding it. And it just went right on up here. So we got as high today as that 460 level. Okay, so right now we're looking right there, top of that candle, that 458. We're just a smidge below. So your next level is going to be right there at that 463 and then 468.8. That is going to be your big retest there. Now, realistically, we cracked that. this is your big target at 490. Yeah, it's not going to go straight there, go 475, 480, but right there, that's where it's going. Okay, but you got to close above that 466 in order to do that. Okay, so for me, I'm just trading the UNG, but we had this nice bottoming tail, so you always watch those. Okay, when you see that, and then always go to the left of the chart. So on the downside here, just watch that 8-day. That's going to be very, very key. Watch today's low at that 435. And then we come down here, 432. And then watch the old sticky down here at 423. We lose it, you're going to come right to this area here, looking at that 418 level. And then we have 21-day at 409. Okay, just that simple. Now, we got to a little bit of overbought situation, came on down. Now we're rallying up here. This green was crossing over, but now look at that. It looks like almost like a dolphin kind of a situation. Look at that shit. Okay, look at that. See, can't look at a dolphin. Now she just can go sideways because now we have a nice rally up here. Now, we look here at the weekly chart, okay? So as we keep right on going here, that's your big boy right there is that 490 level, okay? So we got to get back above that, but we have such a really nice targets here. We can go all the way here to the bottom there. Look at that, okay? You got that 532. That's going to be your next big target, okay? Then we come right at the top of this candle here. You got 557. Then we can rally all the way up to there. That's 631. And then we just bring this price channel across here. What do you got? 710. We come up there. We have 760. And then you can work yourself all the way up to that $10. Now, I'm not saying that's where to go. It'd have to take something dramatic to get all the way up there. But right now, I'm just looking here. Maybe possibly, if we can crack that 466, we can at least hit that 490 level. And then we can decide, then we'll see, what the reaction is. Does it blast up? Does it go down? What the whole situation is going to be. Okay, so right here now, that's exactly what we're doing. On the downside here, all you got to really watch is see where that 8-day is at 379, 378. That's going to be very key. Give a little patience, and that 8-day will creep on crawling up here. But look how everything is turning. See that 8-day, 21-day, everything is veering right on to the upside. And this time of the year here is really good for natural gas. Now I usually don't short, but I did some short skis here with the KLD on these candles. But yesterday when I see that bottoming tail, boom. It's a good trade. Today is a good trade. Now, I'm not looking for that much in UNG because I trade 5,000 shares, okay? So right now, UNG hit a low of 14.55 and a high of 14.85, okay? So I got 20 cents out of there today, and I was satisfied with 20 cents. That's $1,000 easy money just in the natural gas, okay? Now, again, you see a market selling off here. There was a lot of good trades. NVIDIA was a good trade, okay? Crude oil on the short side, natural gas on the long side, okay? There was a lot of good stuff. Bitcoin on the short side. Okay, so there was still a lot of good trades here. Now, the key to this today, I should say, is going to be NVIDIA. So we've got to see what NVIDIA's numbers are, not just the numbers are, what their guidance is, but what is the reaction to those numbers. Now, NVIDIA could turn this market. Okay, so you got to be a little bit cautious, a little bit patient here. It could turn this market. Now, NVIDIA, they got an option price, I believe, is 7% in each direction. So again, that could send NVIDIA up to the highs, or it could take it right back down again. But a lot of times you can smash it down, and it'll come reverse right back up here. So watch the earnings, see how the reaction is, and that could be the tell for tomorrow's trading. Okay, that's what I got for you. I'll be back here tomorrow morning. Tomorrow's old Thursday already, and remember, trade what's in front of you. Not what you want.